All right, everybody. So welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some really exciting stuff that's going to directly translate into your business, going to help you make more money from the money that you're spending. And luckily today, you're going to be learning some stuff, not just from me, but we're going to be learning some stuff from Onyx Singal, who, he runs a business that's spending way more money than all of us would ever want to spend on Facebook ads. He's doing it every single month, understands the ads platform very well. Him and his company are just doing some crazy things. So wanted to be able to bring him in, get his perspective on a lot of things that we're going to be talking about, and kind of take you guys further into Messenger. So we'll just check and make sure, Onyx, you're still with me here.
I'm here, man. Thanks for having me. Super excited. And let me take this opportunity to also publicly thank you, Travis, for your contribution to Learn Nation with this brilliant course that you put together. Love it. Super excited about it. And you know what I love the most about it is it's a topic that even I still need to learn a lot more about. So I got a chance to pick your brain a little bit today, and people can listen in. But yeah, Facebook is a platform that we're very familiar with. We do huge numbers on it. I'm all about scale, and we've been scaling it like crazy. And I think the next thing that's going to be big for us is really getting into Messenger and Messenger bots and learning more about that. So anyways, thanks for having me, Travis.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, I think that, kind of taking that turn towards ads and what Messenger provides in that whole platform is, number one, I think one of the things that most businesses are forgetting, and I mean, you're obviously not unfamiliar with this, is when you're starting to run ads on Facebook, that is then your platform that also allows your users to reach you. So just Facebook Messenger alone, and this is one of the stats that we have on the screen here, I believe. Yep, 2 billion messages are currently being sent between users and businesses every single month right now. And the scary thing is a lot of businesses are like, well, holy cow, I can't, in addition to everything else that I'm doing, I don't have time to manage my Messenger. But the problem is, if you were running, let's say, a real physical store or a physical business, and somebody walked into your business and said, hey, I've got a question, you wouldn't ignore them. But in the world that we're in now, where we want everything on our terms, where I can sit on my living room couch and I can order from Uber Eats and it's at my house in 30 minutes and I don't even have to get up. In that world where convenience is the key, people don't want to have to email you when they have a question. People don't want to have to call your phone when they have a question. We want to be able to get service from the businesses that we're frequenting in the ways that we want, which is one of the biggest ways right now is Facebook Messenger. Obviously 1.4 billion people use Messenger every single month, which is just insane to think that there's that many people using messages, sending 2 billion messages between consumers and businesses. And so all these people are out there running ads. And obviously, again, I referenced that you guys aren't unfamiliar with this because as you guys are running ads, I'm sure you're seeing, you end up getting a lot of messages just because people are like, well, I've seen your brand now, I might have one extra question, right? And so they start messaging you, and without Messenger bots, you've got to literally either spend time sitting in front of Messenger hoping that you can reply in time, because obviously Messenger, we want it to be instant, right? That's why we're going to Messenger. Or you've got to pay somebody to do that. And either way, it's an expense that a lot of businesses that are just getting started can't afford. But the alternative to that, and I was just talking to somebody recently at a local event. They ran a hair salon for extensions for women, and I was asking them, like, do you guys ever get messages on Facebook? And she's like, yeah, we do. And we get 1 or 2 every single week, and we miss 1 or 2 every single week. And I was like, well, how much is your average customer worth? And she was like, it's about $1,000 every 4 weeks to do these hair extension things and then to redo them. And I said, so is it safe to say you're losing $1,000 to $2,000 a month by not being where your customers want you to be? And she's like, oh, 100%. I just don't know how else to fix it. And so even on that side, and I call those reactive bots. And as you guys are going through the course, you guys will hear the difference between a reactive bot and a proactive bot. Just by having the reactive side in place, so that if somebody sends your fan page a message and says, you know, where can I get support? You can have a bot looking for the word support and then instantly sends them a message and says, I see that you're looking for support. Here's links where you can get service. Just having that, it doesn't leave anybody hanging. It answers the questions on the way that, you know, that the customer wants. And that's just, I mean, long story short, that's the world that we're going to. Almost every single one of us at this point has a story where we tried to reach somebody or some business, or tried to call some business and nobody answered the phone, or we tried to message somebody and nobody answered our message. And that becomes a frustration for us because now we expect that instant response. So just on that reactive side, I think it's something that every single business is going to, they're going to feel the pressure that they need this thing in place. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen that we're showing here, 43 million business pages are on Facebook right now. And that's actually, I mean, obviously that's going up every single day. But of those 43 million pages, only 200,000 of them, this was reported about a month and a half ago, only 200,000 of them are currently using messenger bots. And so we've got this like great opportunity to be some of the first people to adopt a new style of technology, a new idea, a new way of reaching our customers. And there's just so many different, like I would call them entry points, and we cover that in the course. So many different entry points where somebody might feel the need to message you, whether it's running ads like you guys do on it, or whether you're actually in the ad platform creating a new ad and you want to run an ad that opens a messenger bot conversation, right? There's two new ads that are completely related to messenger only. And so you've got that entry point. And we talk about the rest. We talk about scan codes and all of this. But what I tell people mostly, kind of sum it up, is imagine a world where you actually have this place, Facebook Messenger, that you know you can reach a business and the business owner doesn't feel stress having to sit in front of a messenger all day. They just create automations that can solve most of their inbound messaging. Now, you don't have to worry about the phone ringing off the hook. You don't have to worry about messages going unanswered. You don't have to worry about people sending you emails and spending, you know, Christmas dinner. That's literally a story that I heard recently. Some retailer was, while eating Christmas dinner, a retailer was angry because their customers were messaging them on Facebook saying, hey, you know, do you ship to Canada? Hey, you know, what's this? And she was like, why do they message me? I don't tell them to message me. They shouldn't be messaging me. And I said, guess what? You advertise on Facebook, so you create that platform for them to reach you on. And so I think there's a lot of excitement around Messenger because of all of the functions and the crazy cool things that it can do. But for the most part, in the next year or so, the most productivity is going to come from, and I mean this, like the most revenue to your business is likely going to come from making sure that when somebody messages your page doesn't leave them hanging. And I mean, again, it's like having a phone but never answering it. We need to start paying more attention to Messenger, but we don't have to manually do all this stuff. We just have to manually set up a message that can then go out to people. So I'm sure on the ad side of things, you guys have probably experienced something very similar to this, with especially as much as you guys are spending on there. You guys probably get quite a lot of messages.
Absolutely. We get a lot of messages, and to be honest with you, we've not been very good about it. I mean, just to echo off a story that you're talking about, I recently purchased something from an e-com store, and I don't know, I have no idea how it worked. I don't ask the questions, but it was brilliant. I got my receipt in Facebook Messenger. Yeah. And so that was actually pretty helpful. And to top it off, I actually had a couple of questions. So I was able to reply to them right in the Facebook Messenger and ask them about the shipping status and all. And within an hour or two, got a reply in Facebook Messenger. And all of a sudden, my light bulbs went off, where it's like, we're not just using messenger bots for sales or for, like, you know, replacing an email list. It's a way to really, like you said, communicate with your customers and keep that going. And I think with us, what's happening is, so we invest well over $400,000 to $500,000 a month in Facebook ads. And so the more Facebook ads we're doing, the larger our pages are getting, the more active people are getting there. And then people are actually reaching out to us on Facebook because we just invest a lot more money in building that audience up. And so, of course, now when we do this, for everyone who's wondering, people keep thinking, Anik, I don't have $400,000 to throw into Facebook. I want you to remember something. We started with $20. That's it. Our first ad was $20. And then from there, we made it do work. It worked well for us. And we put like $50 in, and then went to $100, and then we went to $300, and then we went to $1,000, and then we went to, you know, 3,000. And then, so we grew our budget over time and we were profiting. We do about a 300% ROI on all of our ad spend. So there is really never an opportunity for us to lose money. That's why we've been able to scale so much. And a lot of people who are wondering, you know, how do you do Facebook ads? Now, if you just look below this video, you'll actually see a couple of options. One is an absolutely free course offered right here in Learn Nation. It's our Facebook Bootcamp, and that is an awesome course that highlights exactly how we think about Facebook ads here at Learn and how we run our ads. You can emulate exactly what we do. The second is an option to join us on a workshop, you know, an on-demand workshop that will show you our accounts, how we create ads, the steps we use, and all of the cool stuff. And so I definitely want to implore everybody to look below and engage with one of the options. That'll show you how we do our Facebook ads. But yeah, so what's happening, Travis, is because of that massive spend, because of the big investment in Facebook ads, we get a tremendous number of messages. About 4 months ago, I remember we had to take one of our customer support team representatives and appoint them to watch our Facebook inboxes, because so many support messages were coming through. And I know for a fact, by the way, Travis, this was not done through bots or through anything. This was just done because we had a support member watching that box. I know for a fact that we turned 3 people from, and it's probably more, but these are just 3 we happen to be able to track because of the stories they told us. We actually turned 3 people into Learn Masters students. And you know, that's well over $30,000 in revenue just because we were there to reply. I mean, we replied to something. They asked a question, we replied, and then they replied back and said, okay, you know, I keep seeing all these images and pictures and videos about Learn Masters. What is it? Can I talk to someone?
And that's the thing is, I think, you know, in 5 years ago, the coolest thing was websites, right? And that was like what it was. The problem is now, look at the way that we search Google, for instance. That kind of tells you the direction of the world, right? So 10 years ago, we would go on Google and we would search business card. If we wanted to buy business cards, we would search business card. Now, our searches are more conversational. Where can I buy a business card in Tampa, right? That's the way that we function in our lives in general. We're used to being able to ask questions and get responses. So having static websites, obviously I still use websites, but having static websites may not be the only option anymore. And for some of you guys who are thinking, well, I don't, you know, we're not even talking about proactive. Again, we're not talking about what you can do with Messenger to you know, actually create using bots, this opportunity to automate a sales process, which that side of the whole marketing game is massive. But looking at the examples of just inbound, using it maybe as like sort of customer service versus you know, being able to actually give a response. Some interesting stories there are, we actually we worked with a page that had a really large following. They did a bunch of motivational videos, and you know, I was reading about this page that was very similar to theirs, and they were getting messages, and I'd never heard of this. They were a motivational fan page, right? They had millions of views, and they were getting messages from people saying like, you know, this is so inspiring. And they were getting like suicide related messages. Like, you know, things aren't going well for me. I don't know what to do. Can you give me some advice? And I never even thought that that was an application for this, but people were looking for a place to reach out. And so that big fan page owner said, look, I've been going through my messages and I'm not able to answer these people. I have 5 million fans on my fan page. I get thousands of messages every single day. Do I just turn my messenger off? And I said, you know what? You know, we looked at it and it was like, it just makes so much more sense. What if we created a bot that like could give them assistance if this is the stuff that they're saying? So now we took this outlet that otherwise was going to be turned off and people weren't going to have this outlet to get a response, and we turned it into a positive thing where now we can actually push people to get help. And you know, you look at it from all different directions. Communication is the way that we operate as in a world right now. The entire world is social. So when you're not communicative with your customers, with your fans, with your subscribers or whatever, when they want something from you, they go to Facebook to get it. And another really interesting story kind of on the smaller side is my wife and I do CrossFit. We travel across the country and the world. And a lot of those times I know from being a CrossFitter, and I used to own a gym, I know that if I call their number, most CrossFit gyms are kind of small, so they don't have somebody working the phone all the time. So I know that if I call, I'm not going to get an answer. Sure enough, we call, we don't get an answer. So I stopped calling, and I started using Facebook Messenger. And this was over two and a half years ago that I was doing this. I would messenger a CrossFit page before dropping in, and I would ask them the questions that I needed answers to. How much is your drop in? What's your schedule? Like basic questions that, had they had a bot in place, the very first page that I messaged could have answered all my questions and I would have been a customer for them. Now I'll tell you, this is how very real it is. When I drop into a gym with my wife, it's $25 for me and $25 for her. So there's $50 for that gym, just in the drop-in fee. I also almost always buy a shirt, and that is a very typical CrossFit thing to do. Those are $25. My wife says $25. So now we're at $100 when I walk in, and that doesn't even include, maybe I need to buy some waters, or maybe you sell protein shakes. Maybe you have tape that I'm going to use. Like, there's a trillion different things. And I can promise you this, we went to San Diego and we did this one time, and I ended up spending $180 on one day's drop-in because I bought like a hoodie and she bought sweatpants. And had that page not responded to me, telling me when I could drop in and how much their drop-in rates were, I would have never gone there. So from a local business perspective, it's mandatory. I mean, think about how many people are probably messaging a local business right now with the questions of, where can I make a reservation, right? Or here's a great one. My mom works for a company in St. Augustine, and they do travel. They do like this trolley thing. And people literally send messages to their fan page every single day, mind you. And the question is, where can I buy tickets for the trolley? They're literally looking to buy tickets. And she said, you know, my boss told me that I'm supposed to manage this outside of work hours because they don't want to allocate my time towards that. And she's like, so it's costing them, you know, however many hours I'm doing outside, time and a half, like every single month, it's like over $1,000 just to reply to these messages. And she says, I never get to any of them in real time. And so here's somebody who actually wants to buy your tickets from you right now. They say the keyword tickets. You could make a bot that responds and says, hey, here's where you can go buy your tickets. And I mean, how much money do you think that company is going to be making by automating that entire process? So again, you know, the powerful side, the reactive side of bots, I think that's where, and Anik, you kind of mentioned when you purchase something, you got your receipt. I like to refer to Messenger and Messenger bots as an asset delivery tool. And you mentioned it, you kind of hinted at it, that like, you know, Messenger is more than just a replacement for email. I want to make one thing very, very clear, and I'm saying it in front of you. You can also resonate this to the people that you discuss and you talk to. I know more about Messenger than most people out there right now. I would venture to say more than anybody who doesn't work for Facebook themselves. And I can tell you right now, the conversation about Messenger and email, it needs to stop forever. And it's not anybody's fault, but I think too many people are saying Messenger gets better open rates than email. And that's fine to say in theory, but then somebody's going to read that and they're going to say, oh, so I don't have to use email anymore. I should just use Messenger. And the problem is, broadcasting messages through Messenger is one of the most guaranteed easy way to get you shut down, because Messenger is not supposed to be a one-way, non-communicative broadcasting platform. And that's what email is. You sign up for an email, I send you things when I want to send you things, right? Messenger is the opposite. You sign up for Messenger, I'm supposed to send you messages about things that you deliberately want. And so use Messenger to get email addresses, use Messenger to get to know more about your clients, to communicate, to respond to concerns that they may have coming in, to walk them down like a really cool question answer kind of quiz path. But do not ever, ever put email and messenger in the same bucket and treat them the same way, because they're both so, so different. And I know, Anik, you've also mastered email marketing a long time ago. And I know you can vouch, like, email it's supposed to be one way. And of course, sometimes people will respond, but the point of an email is, here's all this information, click this link to go to a website, or click this link to go check this thing out. Messenger is all about communication, and it's about conversation. So if you're sending something out with the objective of, I'm going to get a sale from this broadcast, you're just not doing it right. And yes, can you make a ton of money off Messenger? Absolutely. Can you use it to generate sales? 100%. Can you solve tons of problems that the world currently has, that, with talking to your customers in real time? 100% those things can be done. But all of us who are listening now and who are, talking about using Messenger, we've got to be the people who are going to fight this thought that email and Messenger are somehow like combative, and that, Messenger is going to replace email. Whenever you see that, any of you guys listening, whenever you see anybody say Messenger is going to replace email, you have my permission to slap them in the face, because it's just so far misunderstood what Messenger is supposed to do, that you, and again, don't actually slap anybody in the face, but you should at least tell them, hey, I don't know that that's the right perspective for Messenger. And, that's one of the easiest ways to get your fan pages shut down, and it's probably not the way that you should go about it. So the powers of Messenger are yet to be seen, but broadcasting, to me, is one of the least valuable assets of Messenger, and I think that surprises a lot of people. But when you start to see in a year from now all the things that Messenger can do, and the way that it makes our world easier and more convenient, which is the name of the game, I think everybody's going to be like, wow, he was right. Broadcasting isn't really where it's at. It's about this instant automation of responses, and like what Anik said, turning an incoming message that might have been ignored into, 3 of those messages turn into about $30,000 worth of student value. And that's where we're at in our world, is customer service a lot of times being done right turns into a massive uptick in your bottom line. So having bots in place is a huge, huge importance. And that's just, again, the responsive side. The proactive side, I think, has tons of potential, but, focus on the reactive and then do the proactive.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And definitely gives, I know that we're going to be focusing on it a lot more here at Learn as well. And so I'm taking this course just like everyone else is, Travis. And, with everything we're doing on Facebook ads, and all of our students who are now learning to do Facebook ads, adding and learning how to use Messenger in that it can truly have a 30, 40, 50% increase in results of the ads. And to
take it down to like add on to what you just said, and it reminded me of a thought that you brought up just really quickly. You had mentioned before, like, okay, we're not all spending $400,000 on ads, so maybe it won't be as big of a problem. I can tell you this. I have a client who spends, and I'm not kidding, $20 a day on ads. That is the same client that was angry and pissed off at Christmas dinner because they were responding to messages because they knew their customers expected real-time responses. So somebody sent in a question, and then like 4 hours went by, and the person was like, what is going on? Why didn't you get back to me? And so it aggravated this business owner, because she was like, it's Christmas Day. I shouldn't have to be responding to you on Christmas Day. So she was literally aggravated at that response, so much so that she literally paid me as a business owner, Travis, I don't care what it costs. I want you to automate this process so that I don't have to worry about it. I want it off my plate. I want anybody who wants to know, what our phone number is, I want you to send them our phone number, and we'll deal with this way. And so that pain point is very real for a lot of people, regardless of how much you spend on ads. The influx of people messaging your page, it's very, very real. It's only going to go up from here as more people get familiar with it, as more people use Messenger, as more people become familiar with the fact that they can message a business and get instant responses. Guess what? They're all going to start expecting instant responses. So when you don't give them one, they will find somebody that will. So messenger bots to me going to become very synonymous with necessity, kind of like a website is, right? You need a website. You're going to need messenger bots because the world that we're in is drastically shifting to being more real time, and we've all got to be ready for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me, Travis. You know, it was great to hear kind of what your thoughts are on the various ways to use Messenger, and looking forward to catching the rest of the course.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously, guys, again, I would highly suggest going below and checking out those links to grab the Facebook ads training course, because as much as all of this messenger stuff is absolutely great, being able to be efficient with ads is going to be one of the more important things that you can do to also kickstart having these messenger things in place and being able to generate more revenue. Having it all in place at the same time means that there's just that much more opportunity for you to make more money. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing all of you guys in our next module.